Hi, my name is Freddy McConnell and I am 34 years old and I'm a solo dad by choice. The thing that people are most curious about when it comes to my family is the fact that I'm a transgender man who paused my transition in order to become pregnant and give birth to my kid. That's how I chose to start my family. And it's actually how an increasing number of trans men and non-binary people are choosing to start their families. Most, if not all of us, are told that when we start testosterone, we will no longer be able to have biological kids. We now know that that's not true. And so luckily through community, we're able to come together and support each other and share advice. Yeah, the various options we have for having families of our own. So it feels like a good time to be alive in a way, as a trans man, having options like this. I'm actually really excited to be working with Merrell because I have a pair of shoes that have been with me upwards of 12 years now, and it's these bad boys, which just happen to have Pride shoelaces in at the moment. But these shoes, my God, have been with me everywhere. They've been journeying overland with me probably in excess of 15,000 miles overland to the Middle East twice, overland from India to the UK. They've been to Afghanistan, Syria, Jordan, Australia, America. They were comfortable from the first time I wore them, and you know, actually for all that use, they are still in incredibly good condition. So those are my beloved Merrells. And I guess I just wanted to talk a bit about what it's like to be a dad who's trans. I'm also a single dad by choice, as I said, which I love. I think it's a choice that was right for me. A lot of people, people always ask me, how do you do it? Isn't it exhausting? And of course, it is exhausting in some ways, but I think all parenting can be exhausting in some ways. And actually, my kid and I, we get along really well. He's really easygoing, which is great. I got lucky with a pretty easygoing kid, and we have kind of similar interests, it seems. It's amazing to watch him grow and express himself, and for me to be able to learn about who he is as a person. Part of that is we spend a lot of time outdoors. We live on the coast. We're very lucky to live 5 minutes from the sea. So we spend a lot of time on local beaches. There's rock pools nearby. There's stony beaches, sandy beaches, fields and all sorts. So we go on walks and we ride our bike, and we try to be outside as much as possible, and not in a very structured way. We just go and explore. We sometimes take our little camper van on little adventures locally, and hopefully we'll take some bigger adventures soon, as we're able to after the pandemic. I guess also when my kid gets a bit bigger, I'm really looking forward to taking him on bigger trips abroad. I've been hiking and climbing in places like Colorado, and hopefully that's in our future. Not that I'm very accomplished in any of those things, but I'm hoping that my kid and I, we can learn together. I mean, I guess people wonder what it's like to be trans dad. It's very much like being any other kind of parent, I would guess. Obviously this is all I know, so it's hard to compare, but really I guess I wish people knew more about the fact that LGBT families, queer families, or families created through any kind of non-traditional way, whether it's adoption or surrogacy or IVF or whatever it is, the actual experience of being a family is so universal in so many ways. Obviously you have different experiences, you have different conversations with your kid. I'm very open with my kid about how he came along, and that's been from day one. I think it's very important to be open and honest as early as possible. But aside from that, we deal with the same things any other family does, and it's all fairly regular mix of like laughing and crying and struggling and celebrating and all those sorts of things. We're very lucky to have lots of friends and family who live near us as well. It's also, I think it is important for me as a parent and as a trans person, and also for my kid as the child of a trans person and a member of a queer family, to see representation of other people like us enjoying the outdoors. Traditionally, you've always seen kind of one kind of person, or maybe more recently one kind of family enjoying the outdoors. And that is changing, which is wonderful to see, especially thanks to social media. We're actually seeing the reality, which is that all kinds of families, all kinds of backgrounds, and with all kinds of experiences, getting outside and enjoying nature and respecting nature. Obviously, that's a very important thing as well. I teach my kids to respect nature and to care about it as something that is crucial, that something that we rely on and that we have to take care of and respect. In order for our future survival. Obviously, I think that's going to be an increasingly important message to teach our kids, in these coming years and decades. But yeah, that representation is just really important too, just for one's own sense of being welcome, being allowed. Is this for me? Like all those things that might never occur to someone who grows up in a nuclear family. They might never question, like, am I allowed to be here? But other kinds of people do. You can't help it when you're different. Having that representation of families like ours in outdoor settings might not seem like a huge deal, but it's more meaningful than I think a lot of people would realize. Yeah, I'm really proud to share my story here, and I hope maybe there's a dad like me out there who watches this and thinks, oh yeah, that's like me. So I'm gonna get out this weekend and go play on the beach or in the woods or whatever it is. Thanks for listening to a bit of our story.